The financial media loves to scream that $10 million is the new 1 million. They want you to believe that unless you have an 8-figure net worth, you are one bad market cycle away from disaster. It is a narrative designed to keep you in a state of perpetual wealth anxiety, moving your goalposts further away every time you get close to the finish line. But the rational peer understands something that the spreadsheet robots completely ignore. Human spending does not scale forever. Research on high net worth individuals shows that lifestyle satisfaction and monthly spending hit a massive plateau at a certain level. For households worth between $1 million and $10 million, the median monthly spending levels off at roughly $15,000 a month. That is a very high quality of life. It is fine dining, international travel, and a beautiful home. In a few minutes, I am going to show you the spending plateau, the mathematical proof that your life 10 years from now will look and feel exactly the same whether you have $5 million or $50 million. Once you realize that there is a ceiling to how much money can actually improve your life, you can stop being a servant to a number and start being the master of your time. We are often sold a cartoonish version of wealth, images of private jets, entitied entourages, and 5 different vacation homes. We are told that this is what we should be grinding for. But for the vast majority of us, that is not a life. It is a full-time job of managing logistics and overhead. I'm going to break down the actual monthly burn rate of the truly wealthy right now, and I can promise you, the numbers are far more recognizable than you think. But I want you to stay until the end to see the early retirement bridge. I will show you the exact math that allows a rational peer to quit 10 years earlier than the average saver by using half the money they thought they needed. If you are ready to stop chasing the ghost of more and start calculating the reality of enough, hit that like button and subscribe. We are building a community that values freedom over the infinite grind. Let's look at the needle mover logic. The villain of the modern retirement plan is something I call the infinite grind. It is the psychological trap of believing that the next $1 million will finally be the one that brings you the peace of mind you have been chasing since your 20s. It is the belief that safety is always one more bonus or one more promotion away. But here is the rational peer secret that the financial industry does not want you to know. Wealth has a very real law of diminishing returns. Think about the needle mover logic. If you go from having $500,000 to $1 million, your life changes fundamentally and permanently. Your stress levels drop because you have a survival buffer. Your security skyrockets and your options for how you spend your Tuesday afternoons expand. That is a massive, life-altering move. But if you already have $8 million and you decide to grind for 3 more years of high-stress meetings and missed family birthdays just to reach $9 million, does your life actually change? Your house stays the same, your car is still the same model, and your morning coffee still tastes exactly the same. At that level, $1 million is no longer a life changer. It is just a rounding error on a digital spreadsheet. The real-world data shows that for households worth between $1 million and $10 million, the median monthly burn rate levels off at about $15,000 a month. That is $180,000 a year of after-tax spending. Even if you jump to a staggering net worth of $50 million, that median spending only creeps up to $25,000. The spreadsheet robots want you to keep grinding for a cartoonish, billionaire lifestyle you will likely never actually want or need. The infinite grind is a bad trade where you swap your finite, non-renewable physical health for a score on a digital scoreboard that no longer has the power to move the needle of your happiness. To see the true, hidden cost of the infinite grind, let us look at the lives of 2 neighbors, Mark and Linda. Mark is what I call the forever striver. He is 55 years old and has successfully built a liquid portfolio of $5 million. Mark desperately wants to retire and spend his mornings on the golf course or with his grandkids, but he spends his nights watching fear-mongering financial news. The experts on the screen tell him that in today's economy, he needs at least $10 million to be safe in a high-cost-of-living city. So Mark decides to put his head down for just a few more years. He spends the next 10 years the final decade of his peak physical health, working a high-pressure job he has grown to hate just to hit that $10 million number. He trades 3,650 days of his limited life for a surplus of money he will never actually find a way to spend. Now look at Linda, the rational peer. Linda has the exact same $5 million as Mark. However, instead of listening to the experts, she looks at her actual life. She realizes that even a lofty and luxurious lifestyle, with the international trips, the nice dinners, and the generous gifts for her family, only costs her $15,000 a month. She understands the Social Security stabilizer and realizes that her enough is already sitting in her bank account right now. Linda chooses to retire today at 55. She trades her paper wealth for 10 years of active, healthy, and vibrant freedom. Mark eventually reaches the age of 65 with a perfect $10 million spreadsheet, but he has 10 years less time to enjoy it. Mark is a wealth hoarder who collected numbers. Linda is a time billionaire who collected experiences. One of them died with the most toys, but the other lived the most life. The solution to escaping the infinite grind is to build what I call the $5 million bridge. This is the mathematical framework that allows you to stop trading your time for money once you have secured your freedom ceiling. To understand why $5 million is the ultimate target, we have to look at the two distinct phases of a rational peer retirement. Phase 1 is the early bridge. If you want to retire at age 55, you need a pool of capital to fund the 12-year gap before the government starts sending you a check. According to the data, a high-end lifestyle of $15,000 a month requires a gross annual income of roughly $260,000 after accounting for a 30% tax rate. To fund this 12-year bridge with a safe, high-velocity withdrawal rate, you need approximately $2.9 million dedicated to this bucket. Phase 2 is where the Social Security stabilizer kicks in. At age 67, the average high-earning couple receives roughly $72,000 a year in Social Security benefits. This is the secret weapon of the wealthy. That $72,000 of guaranteed income effectively replaces the need for an additional $1.5 million in your portfolio. When you layer Social Security on top of your remaining investments, the pressure on your second you drops off a cliff. Even with a lofty lifestyle, your required withdrawal rate falls into the safe zone of 3 to 4%. This is why $5 million is the magic number. It covers the bridge, survives the gap, and leaves you with a surplus that will likely outlive you. The final vision you must internalize to stop the grind is the reality of aging. The spreadsheet robots assume that if you spend $180,000 at age 60, you will still be spending that same amount at age 90. But humans do not work that way. We experience what researchers call the go-go, slow-go, and no-go years. In your 60s, you are active. You are traveling, dining out, and exploring. This is when your spending is at its peak. But as you move into your late 70s and 80s, the slow-go years, your biological burn rate naturally declines. You travel less, you eat less, and you prioritize simplicity. If you wait until you have $10 million to retire, you are essentially saving up for a go-go lifestyle that your slow-go body will no longer be able to execute. You are overfunding a future version of yourself that won't have the energy to spend the money. By retiring with $5 million today, you are matching your peak capital with your peak health. You are giving yourself permission to live while the engine is still running at full strength. The freedom of the rational peer is knowing that having enough at age 55 is infinitely more valuable than having too much at age 70. The goal of this journey was never to see who could accumulate the biggest pile of paper before they died. The goal was always agency, the ability to wake up and own your schedule. If you have already crossed the $1 million mark, you have already won the survival game. Now the question is how much of your life you are willing to trade to move from secure to extravagant. Don't let the noise of the $10 million crowd trick you into a life of unnecessary labor. $5 million is the ceiling. Everything above that is just a scoreboard that doesn't change the flavor of your life. If this breakdown of the $5 million ceiling gave you the confidence to finally set your own goalposts, hit the subscribe button. We are building a community that values the time billionaire mindset over the wealth hoarder trap. Subscribing ensures you never miss a reality check on what it actually takes to be free. Stay the course, stop working for money you'll never spend, and start living the life you've already earned. Keep playing the long game. I will see you in the next video.